Worthington from IELTSPodcast.com, and in this tutorial we're going to briefly look at how to solve this issue, include an introduction and conclusion. Now you might be getting this error because you wrote just a one paragraph essay. This does happen, and if you're just new to IELTS and academic writing in particular, then you might see nothing wrong with this, but those further along the line will know about 5 paragraph models. These are your body paragraphs, and 4 body paragraph models. And these are the ones we teach. We teach this structure, 4 paragraph model. We've got 2 body paragraphs, the introduction and the conclusion. This is the simplest, most straightforward way. You can use it for all the different question types. And this is why we strongly believe that IELTS is not that hard when you break it down. So let's jump into it. We have the introduction and we have the conclusion. Now, in the online course, we teach our students to include a summary of the ideas in both the introduction and the conclusion. Now, for the first sentence, we paraphrase the question. Below, I'm going to give you a tutorial about paraphrasing, and then we briefly mention the ideas we will be discussing and developing in the body paragraphs. Okay, so we're briefly going to mention them here, and then later we're going to include them here. Now, as I said, we don't do any development, okay? We don't do any discussion, we just mention. So, as I said, we've got our 4 paragraph model. We've got this question. I'll just give you an example now. These days, fathers stay at home and take care of their children while mothers go out to work. What could be the reason for this? Is it a positive or negative development? Now, in this introduction, okay, we've got our sort of like, obviously, not a paraphrasing per se, but a rephrase. Yeah, we've got the first sentence, which introduces the topic, and then we briefly mention, okay, I'm going to use examples from Scotland and France, and I briefly mention them. I do not go into any development whatsoever. Now, this is what it looks like if we include our examples. We take it to a much further extent. Okay, we go into details, and then this is really, really tricky to read, because not only do we do it on the first one, but we might do it on the second one as well. And now, for our body paragraphs, we're going to end up repeating what we've already said. Okay, and this can cause a lot of problems. Whereas if we just mention it here, now in my body paragraph, I've mentioned the country Scotland, and then in this one, somewhere in between, in the middle of my body paragraph, I'm going to develop it. Say, take Scotland for example. Their government policy regarding, I don't know, domestic roles or whatever, I'll probably put something like this. For example, the Scottish government's recent policy change. Okay, that's what I would put in my body paragraph. And doing it this way just makes it so much easier and straightforward. So just as a summary, this is what including the example looks like, and here's what mentioning it, just very briefly. And here you might even say using examples from, I don't know, from Edinburgh City Council, or from Cambridge University, or from a recent survey in the UK. Yeah, that's all. We just give a very brief mention about it. So that's one way that we can address this issue. Now, in the online course, what we have is we have templates for all different types of essay questions. And these templates are not only for your body paragraphs, they're also for your introductions and your conclusions. By the way, I didn't mention much about conclusions in this tutorial because it's basically going to be a reflection of what you've written earlier. Okay? Maybe later I will produce a specific tutorial about conclusions. In the online course we have one, but I just wanted to address this issue. So as I was saying, in the online course you come up with your ideas, you formulate your ideas depending on the question, and then you drop them into the template and it basically writes itself, and it's so much easier. And that's why at the beginning I said that the IELTS exam isn't that difficult, and I know it might be frustrating for you hearing me say that, but once we break it down and we attack each part, each component, and you've got instructions, it becomes a lot easier. So that's it for me. Good luck with your exam, and I hope you have a wonderful day.